Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of the Connecticut Department of Transportation and the town of New Milford, I would like to welcome you all for attending this public informational meeting for State Project number 95-257, replacement of bridge number 05115, located on Upland Road over East Aspetuck River in the town of New Milford. My name is Preeti Bardwaj, and I am the project manager assigned to this project. We appreciate your willingness to participate in this forum virtually, and we hope that you will find this meeting both informative and interesting. I would now like to go over some of the goals and format for tonight's meeting. I will explain how you will be able to interact with the project team. I will be explaining how this project is funded in the Federal Local Bridge DMS, or Design Managed by the State program. We will be having some welcoming remarks by the town of New Milford. I will be introducing the project design team, and that includes the department's front office leadership, the department's design team, and our consultant liaison team. This will be followed with a technical portion of the design, which will include the condition of the existing structure, purpose and need for the project, and the recommended design solution, which has progressed to a 30% design completion. As part of the department's public outreach program, it is at this point that we are now reaching out to you, the public, while it is still early in the design process, to receive any comments, concerns, and answer any questions that you may have. We will also have a representative from the Office of Rights-of-Way to explain the rights-of-way process. And lastly, we will have a live question and answer session. I will now explain how you will be able to interact with the project team. There are three means of how you will be able to communicate. The first is by email, which is dot-flbp@ct.gov. And I'll also spell that out. It is dot-flbp@ct.gov. You can also call in, and the phone number is 860-944-1111. Again, that phone number is 860-944-1111, or you can also communicate by chat on the MS Teams live event chat. In this format, you can ask a question by clicking on the little question mark, which shows Q&A, and this will bring up your live event Q&A field. Select the Ask a Question button at the bottom right screen, and a field will pop up. You can type your question and hit either enter with a little arrow button to send. You can also check the box on the bottom to post your question anonymously if you prefer. There will be a slight delay, but eventually your question will appear in the featured section with all other questions that are asked tonight. The project email, phone, and chat will be screened by the project team during the Q&A session, and the questions asked by any of these methods will be posted on the MS Teams Q&A chat window. The questions will be asked out loud for the project team to answer. You can ask questions at any time during the presentation, but we will answer these questions during the live Q&A session that follows. We also have the project webpage link, where the recording of tonight's entire presentation, including the Q&A session, will be stored. The webpage will also contain the same information that I have previously explained on how to provide comments and ask questions. And that project webpage is portal.ct.gov/DOT New Milford 95-257. And I will also spell that out. It is portal.ct.gov /DOTNEWMILFORD/257. And lastly, please remember that the comment period to ask questions or provide comments will be open through February 11th, 2021 via either email or telephone. So if you think of a question after tonight's meeting or want to expand on a question asked tonight, you will have until February 11th to do so. The MS Teams chat function is only available during tonight's live Q&A session. We would greatly appreciate it if you could fill out a brief survey that the department has through SurveyMonkey. The virtual public informational meeting platform is still a relatively new one for the department, and this survey will help the department improve these public meetings going forward. There's also a civil rights flyer available. Both the links to the survey and civil rights flyer are located on the previously mentioned project webpage. And lastly, I am required to read the following statement as part of the Title VI Civil Rights Act, and that is, no person shall, on the basis of race, color, or national origin, be excluded from participation or subject to discrimination in the development of this project. I will now explain how this project is being funded. This bridge is a town-owned bridge and is being funded under the department's Federal Local Bridge Program. Traditionally in this program, the town selects a designer, and because federal funds are involved, the department provides administrative oversight, because the department is considered to be stewards of those federal funds. The funding is traditionally 80% federal and 20% town for the design, rights-of-way, and construction phases of the project. However, this project is going to be funded under the department's newly launched DMS, or Design Managed by the State program. In this program, it will be the department who will be performing the design on behalf of the municipality, utilizing our consultant liaison engineers, who are Close, Jensen, and Miller, or CJM, on this project. CJM has completed the 30% preliminary design, and it will be brought to final design completion by one of our pre-selected task-based designers. In addition, the design phase only will now be funded with 80% federal and 20% state funds, so the entire design phase is at zero cost to the town of New Milford. Although the 30% preliminary design was performed by the department, it was in full partnership and coordination with the town of New Milford. We held several meetings with the town and diligently worked together to incorporate most of the town's comments and concerns. And now we are reaching out to you, the community, to also weigh in. The initiative behind the DMS program was to expedite design delivery for municipal projects. The DMS program uses a streamlined design approach where we are able to utilize full departmental resources and are able to internally perform design tasks concurrently rather than linearly. In this program, we are able to cut down the typical design time by a half and bring these projects to construction quicker, which is enabling the department's goal to keep our bridges in a perennial state of good repair. The department is pleased to be able to offer this program to the town of New Milford. The DMS program is spending your municipal and state tax dollars both efficiently and effectively, and at the same time fostering great working relationships with our municipal partners. And with that, I'll now hand it over to Mr. Pete Bass, Mayor of New Milford.
Hi, this is Mayor Pete, and I'd like to welcome you to the Upland Road River project. Some of the project particulars: VPIM will start with a PowerPoint presentation. Replacement of the existing bridge is due to fair condition of the bridge. Expected time frame spring of 2022. Approximately 6 to 7 months completion is expected. Partner project with the federal government, 20% town funded, 80% federally funded. Partnered with the state DOT administered design program since July 2019. We look forward to the presentation and thank you for being here for our great town, best town in the USA, New Milford. Thank you.
I would now like to introduce the project team. I am Preeti Bardwaj, the project manager shown in the center. To my left are the department's front office leadership, which includes Mr. Bart Sweeney, Division Chief of Bridges, and Mr. Robbie Barakat, Principal Engineer. To my right are Mr. Mark Burns, Project Engineer, and Mr. Dennis McDonald from the Office of Rights of Way. The consultant liaison engineers who have brought this project to 30% design completion are Close, Jensen, and Miller. And from CJM, we have Mr. Mike Brady, Project Manager, and we have Mr. Dan Carnine, Senior Engineer. So, ladies and gentlemen, we are finally ready to present our technical portion of the presentation, and you will be hearing a lot of bridge lingo throughout the presentation. Therefore, I am about to give you a 2-minute crash course on some of the structural elements on a bridge and the numerical condition rating system assigned on a bridge. On the diagram shown, the deck is the riding surface of the bridge. The parapets, or sometimes we can even have an open rail system, help prevent errant vehicles from going off the bridge. The beams, or the girders, are the supporting structural elements on the bridge and are designed to support vehicular loads and the self-weight of the bridge, and also includes any environmental loads such as wind, seismic, etc. The parapets, the deck, and the beams and girders make up what is known as the superstructure of a bridge. The abutments and wing walls are the end supports on a bridge. And piers, if there are any, are the intermediate supports. The abutments and the wing walls and piers make up what is known as the substructure of a bridge. The substructure not only supports the superstructure, but also helps in transmitting loads from the superstructure down to the bridge foundations. All state bridges and town bridges over 20 feet in length are inspected every 2 years by the department's Bridge Safety and Evaluation Unit and are assigned a condition rating on the major bridge elements on a scale of 1 through 9, with 9 being excellent condition and 1 being imminent failure condition. When a major bridge element reaches a 4 or poor condition, that is when we start to initiate a project to address the structural deficiencies. Now that you are armed with basic bridge knowledge, I would now like to introduce Mr. Daniel Carnine, who will be presenting the technical portion of the presentation.
Good evening. My name is Dan Carnine from Close, Jensen & Miller. I will present the technical portion of tonight's presentation. Bridge number 5115 carries Upland Road over East Aspetuck River in the town of New Milford. The bridge is located 100 feet east of State Route 202, also known as Litchfield Road. Here's an aerial view of the site with the bridge in the center. Adjacent to the bridge on the east is the intersection with Old Mill Road, and the intersection with Route 202 is located to the west. The existing bridge was originally built in 1978 and consists of a steel beam and reinforced concrete deck superstructure supported by reinforced concrete abutments. The structure is 34 feet long, has a 23.5-foot curb-to-curb width, and an estimated average daily traffic of 516 vehicles per day. The deck is in fair condition overall, with an overall rating of 5. In 2017, some minor concrete repairs were performed on the deck topside when the bituminous pavement overlay was replaced. There are also some areas of deterioration and cracking visible on the deck underside. The superstructure is in poor condition with an overall rating of 4. This rating makes the bridge structurally deficient and eligible for replacement under the federal local bridge program. The rating is based on the steel beams, which show signs of deterioration such as peeling paint, areas of section loss, and laminated rust. The substructure for this bridge is in good condition with an overall rating of 7. Just minor deterioration was noted on both abutments. The bridge also has a scour critical rating of 3, which means soil and rock under the bridge has potential to erode during an extreme storm event and could possibly fail. This scour critical rating also makes the bridge eligible for replacement under the federal local bridge program. Due to the condition of the existing bridge, a full bridge replacement is required. The proposed bridge will consist of a pre-stressed concrete deck unit superstructure on integral abutments. This is an elevation view that shows the side of the proposed bridge. The proposed clear span will be 42 feet long and allow construction of the new concrete abutments behind the existing substructure. The new concrete abutments will be built on top of steel piles. The steel piles will prevent any potential bridge failure during an extreme storm event and eliminate the scour critical rating. The top portion of the existing substructure will be removed and reinforced concrete caps will be constructed on top. On the top side of the bridge, open metal bridge rail will be installed across the structure and terminate into reinforced concrete end walls at all 4 corners of the bridge. The reinforced concrete end walls at all 4 corners of the bridge will be covered in simulated stone masonry. Here are 2 pictures from recent projects to give you examples of what the walls could look like. Here's a cross-section cut of the proposed bridge. The new bridge will maintain the 2-lane roadway configuration, but the curb-to-curb width will be increased slightly to 24 feet. The new curb-to-curb width will consist of 2 10-foot lanes and 2-foot shoulders. On top in yellow of the cross-section is the open metal bridge rail. Below that, you can see the concrete slab in gray and the pre-stressed concrete deck units in orange. These are pictures from recent projects to show what the proposed superstructure could look like. The top picture is an example of a pre-stressed concrete deck unit superstructure on top of integral abutments. Both pictures show different types of open metal bridge rail installed along the road across the structure. Here's a plan view of the bridge. Looking down over the river is the proposed bridge in orange. On both sides of the bridge in yellow, the roadway will be reconstructed and new pavement installed. Portions of Old Mill Road to the right and the majority of the driveway to the left of the bridge will also have to be reconstructed. Catch basins and drainage pipes within the project limits will also be replaced. The existing roadway alignment will be maintained as close as possible for the bridge replacement. This slide shows the vertical profile of Upland Road. The existing road is shown as the dashed line, and the proposed roadway is shown as the solid line. There are overhead utilities located along the south side of the bridge, across the east approach, and along Route 202. These overhead wires may need to be slightly adjusted to accommodate construction and crane activities, but we do not anticipate any disruptions to power, phone, cable, or internet service. During construction, temporary water handling devices will be installed in front of the existing abutments and wing walls. On the slide, the water handling devices are shown in red, and the water dry areas are shown as the blue hatched areas. This picture also shows the proposed abutments and wing walls in orange. Construction will utilize a 2.3-mile detour consisting of state and local roads. Vehicles following the detour from the west side of the bridge will have to turn right onto Route 202, then turn right onto Wheaton Road, and then a final right onto Upland Road. Property acquisitions will be required for this project. A permanent partial take, shown here in red, is required for construction and future maintenance of the structure. Temporary construction easements, shown in green, will also be required to perform certain construction activities such as excavation, grading, and driveway reconstruction. The driveway shown in the northwest construction easement also needs to be closed for construction. The rights-of-way process is just beginning for this project, and individual property owners will be contacted as the project progresses. The department's right-of-way division will explain this process in more detail later in the presentation. We will obtain all necessary permits for this project. We anticipate obtaining a New Milford Inland Wetlands Permit, a U.S. Army Corps of Engineers General Permit, and a Flood Management Certification. The proposed construction duration is 6 to 8 months with an anticipated construction start of spring 2022. Construction will be funded by 80% federal and 20% town funds. The estimated construction cost is $1,780,000 with a municipal share of $356,000. This concludes the technical portion of tonight's presentation. I will now turn it over to Dennis McDonald from the Division of Rights-of-Way.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Dennis McDonald, and I'm a representative from the Connecticut Department of Transportation, Division of Rights-of-Way. I'm just going to provide a brief overview of the right-of-way process. So the function of the Division of Rights-of-Way is to acquire all property and property rights necessary for the project. This is done in accordance with Connecticut General Statute Section 13A73, 13A98E, and the Uniform Relocation Assistance and Real Property Acquisition Policies Act of 1970 as amended. The typical right-of-way impacts include partial acquisitions, easements, and rights. Impacts are subject to change as the design progresses, but this gives a general idea of typical property impacts. Once property impacts have been established, each impacted property owner will receive a letter of intent to acquire along with a property acquisition map. The letter essentially initiates the right-of-way process, and the map provides a detailed overview of the specific right-of-way impacts. Soon after the letter is received, the valuation process will take place, and once a value has been established, each impacted property owner will receive a written offer of compensation. Property owners will be given time to consider the offer and negotiate should they wish. If an agreement is reached, an acceptance document will be signed, and a closing will take place at a later date. If an agreement is not reached for whatever reason, the state will utilize its power of eminent domain and acquire the property rights through the condemnation process. Now, I understand this has a negative connotation, but many times this is done to keep a project on schedule. If the state elects to pursue eminent domain, the original offer is deposited in the court system. Property owners can continue negotiations or file a formal appeal for a reassessment of damages through the court system. Please note all appeals must be filed within 6 months from the date in which the state files for eminent domain. And that is all I have for tonight. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Dennis. And that, ladies and gentlemen, concludes our technical portion of the presentation. I would like to thank everyone on my design team and everyone behind the scenes who helped put this live event together. We are going to leave the Q&A session information on the screen for your benefit, and we will be answering any questions that came in during the presentation and answer any questions that will come in during this live Q&A session. Once again, we would like to remind everyone to please visit the project website to participate in the survey pertaining to tonight's event, or ask additional questions, or view project plans and information. For those of you listening on the phone, the project webpage is, again, portal.ct.gov/DOT New Milford 95-257. So with that, we are now going to start the live Q&A answer session. We will take as many questions as we can. Feel free to use that chat feature. Or you can also phone in, and again, that phone number is 860-944-1111, or by email. The address is, again, dot.flbp@ct.gov. And once again, the comment period is open until February 11th, 2021.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, it looks like we do have a couple of questions. I'm going to start by reading the questions out loud and have our teams answer it. So the first question we have is, was the rehabilitation of the bridge investigated? Dan from CJM, would you please address this question?
This is Dan. So we did investigate if a superstructure replacement was a viable option, and we also investigate if we could maintain the existing abutments and foundation. However, we didn't think that was a viable option because the superstructure replacement option would not address the scour critical rating, which means that the existing bridge could have potential to be undermined or have soil and rock erode out from underneath the existing abutments during a severe storm event. So because of this, and to address the scour critical rating, we proposed the full bridge replacement where we use pile foundations. Those pile foundations will address the scour critical rating and prevent any, and still support the bridge even if there's any sort of undermining or erosion that occurs during a washout event.
Thank you very much, Dan. Next question that we have is, can timber guide rail be installed? Dan from CJM, can you please address this question?
Yeah, so the timber guide rails. Initially, early on in the project, we had discussions with town officials, and it was determined that curved end walls would be a better option for this project. We didn't want to install guide rails on the approaches because, there's some negatives involved with that, like there would be increased construction costs, increased impacts to adjacent properties, and then increased maintenance costs, with the guide rail system. So what we're proposing will look similar to the picture on the screen here, mostly on the left, which is an example of another curved wing wall that was used on a recent project.
Thank you very much, Dan. So it looks like we're waiting for more questions. So while we're waiting, again, ladies and gentlemen, please don't hesitate to call in with questions. Again, the phone number is 860-944-1111, or email us at dot-flbp@ct.gov, or use that chat function on Teams. Okay, looks like we have another question, and the question is, when is construction anticipated to start, and how long will the detour be in place? Dan from Close Jensen and Miller, will you please address this question?
Sure. Well, first of all, construction is anticipated to start in spring 2022. And most of the construction will be performed utilizing a detour, which will be in place 6 to 8 months. That signed detour will be 2.3 miles long and consist of Route 202, Wheaton Road, and then the remaining portion of Upland Road.
Thank you very much. We'll give it another minute here. We're still waiting. So while we are waiting for questions, again, I would like to remind everyone that this whole presentation, including the Q&A session, will be recorded and will be posted to YouTube following this event. The recording will also be made available on the link shown on the project webpage. So we'll just give it another 30 seconds or so. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't see any other questions coming about. Okay, last chance. So it looks like, yep, it looks like that's it for the evening. So I'm just going to take this opportunity to start wrapping up. I would like to encourage you to take the survey. The link is shown on the Teams chat box, or for those of you watching on YouTube, the survey is below the video. This would really help us improve this virtual meeting experience in the future. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the department and the town of New Milford, We would like to thank you for joining us tonight, and we hope that you found this meeting informative and that we were able to answer all of your questions. All of us on the design team and the town of New Milford are always available to answer any questions, even outside of the comment period. We are also available to meet with you individually on the project site if you so desire. Once again, thank you and have a wonderful evening.